the question is, what story do you want to tell about
Yes.
yourself? So you're really crafting a narrative, not crafting a self. And so I would differentiate
Yes.
those things, because the pressure to kind of cave into your ideas of what the world would find convenient from you is, to me, one of the crises of our times, in terms of people being able to align with their values, because the world's pressures of what they want you to be and how people read that represent a little bit too much risk to eradicate the self. And so
Yeah.
I might use the language of, what narrative do you want to tell?
Yeah.
Rather than what self do you want to craft. And so
Yes.
then the narrative can speak to an audience, which is different than crafting a self that conveniently puts itself into some
Yes.
shape or form,
So this
especially for more transactional
so the self is this
transactional.
emergent discovery and real. Is that right? Like as in
I
is
mean, the
it
self just
it
it
is
just is,
is
and is developing and
yes,
growing
it's
over time.
always changing. But yes, I think where I was going was not to make us uncomfortable that we're bending the self, more that we've got. I think the difference between a job searcher and an emergent leader in like in whatever they're doing is they have a chance to craft a narrative in front of a person, be it an approach, please can I get an interview, or in an interview. So that idea of preparing the stories and the narrative
Uh-huh.
ahead of time. Not necessarily. And I what I love about your distinction is, please don't bend yourself to get the job, but yes, craft your stories to get the job, craft your
Yeah.
narrative to get the job.
Yeah.
Is that a distinction
Yeah.
that's valid?
I think that feels, yeah, that feels more aligned with the way that I
Yeah,
would teach.
yeah,
And it's not just that. I mean, like, it's all emergent and changing. Like,
yeah,
you don't know what's going to happen in the
yeah.
interview, and so that's why your narrative needs to be somewhat clear to you. So then you can be responsive to what's actually happening in your conversation with an actual person
Yes.
in real time, because you can't predict all of that.
Yeah, two ways. But I was listening to you there is like, one is that making sure that that interview, however well or badly it went, informs your search again, informs your reflections. It's like, oh, I don't
Yeah,
actually want
let
to do
let
it.
that be a learning
Yeah, I
experience.
don't want actually want a company like that, or oh my goodness, I love companies like this, and it informs
Yeah.
that process.
Or even more dynamic, when I asked a question about from that person, they leaned into me, like they thought I was more interesting, which is very likely to happen. When I asked a question about their interests, their values, their experience,
Yeah,
they experienced me as more textured, more nuanced, more responsive.
is just on that. Is there like a nugget of a question that you think an interviewee could ask, or is there they would just sort of get that curiosity flowing two way?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think you can ask questions of, like, what's it been like for you to be in this firm? How long have you been? I mean, just any questions that are about the other person. But you might ask questions that are kind of more open ended, so not just factual, where the person that you're asking actually has something more textured to say. So if you say, "How long have you been there?" That's a question, but it's not
Yeah,
particularly curious. It's kind of factual, and you
yeah,
probably could have discovered that through
yeah,
some sort of search ahead of time, right?
yeah,
But a question of, like, what's your favorite thing that's happened this week,
yeah.
or what's inspired you to stay so long? That's a long time in a company, or what's it been like to be there for your first year,
Yeah,
and then genuinely listening to what the person says. That in itself, that interaction will have an impact on both of you.
yeah.
And so if you get a little bit more micro about what's happening in the interview, these themselves could actually be experiments to see what's working. What kind of questions that you ask, where do you feel most like yourself, and where you yourself are showing up consistent with your narrative.